Test, test, test. That seems good. But my camera's off. Let's see. Whoop, whoop, right in the middle. But then you get this gray, gross wall. That's okay. What is up? What is up? What's up, guys? Let me make sure that this live chat overlay it's on. What is this? I know, dude. I've never seen this before. Loud and clear. Awesome. What is up, Ant-Man? Where you been? We'll get to that, dude. How are you? How is your chest? For those who aren't in the Discord, Ant-Man has been having chest issues while gaming. I think you need to go to the doctor. That is not something to be asking in Discord. What's up, man? It feels like years. I missed the streams. What's up, Sam? How's it going, man? Dylan, what's up? Tech Blacksmith? How are you guys doing? Nathan, oh my gosh. This is the earliest Nathan's ever been. What's up, dude? Yeah, he even knows. He goes, I made it, bro. What's up, Nathan? This seems vaguely familiar, like from another place and time. I know. But look, now, because it's so infrequent, it feels better, right? It's like when you eat too much ice cream and you feel bad. Does that make sense? Oh, it's just good. It's just it's from bad posture. Okay. I mean, if it keeps happening, though, you really should go to a doctor, though. JT Bivens, what's up, dude? Good, man. Hope you're well. I'm doing pretty good. Yeah. I went to PAX last week in Seattle, and that was really fun. Yeah, got to recorded some stuff. Not too much, but I was mostly there for fun, and yeah, it was a good time. Got to play a lot of indie games, see some bigger stuff. Always love going to game conventions. Feels special, exactly. The infrequent weekly stream, yeah. It's true. It's funny that I call it a weekly stream, and yet it is not weekly. Not at all. I really should change it. But how's everyone doing? What is new in y'all's world? Good to see all the familiar names. Glad y'all are doing okay. All good here, my man. But yeah, I mean, people who are here before, y'all know. I like doing streams. It's hard to justify doing them so often. Oh yeah, I'm fine, dude. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm good. It's just hard it's hard to bring myself to go live sometimes. You know what I mean? It's like a lot of build up. I'm not very good live, and while I do like hanging out with y'all, this is essentially my job, right? And so it's hard to like give up 3 hours of my weekday night for something that, you know, I'm just doing it for the love. You know what I mean? Yeah, that coupled with like, you know, lower views on my videos lately, it's just harder to log on and stuff. But I'd like to do it more often. I know I say that a lot, but I definitely doing it every week. It's off the table because I am just not. I don't know how people do it every day. I feel like when I was doing it every week, I was not bringing anything to the table. So there's just not enough to talk about I guess for me, and so it's just kind of like digging deep. But I would like it to do it more often. I would like to do it on Twitch, where I can play games. I think that would be fun. Because it's easier. It's something to do, right? Oh yeah, if I could play games while streaming, yeah, I would do it all the time. But on YouTube, it's just not. It's not why y'all are here. So I don't like to do that. So if there's like big news, I'll do a stream. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Sounds like you were getting burned out, not seeing super progress. You took a little break to come back, go even further beyond. Super, Jason. That's pretty much it. Yeah. And also like, I mean, I even released less videos this month. It's I have some more in the works. But just, you know, stuff. Life gets busy. Things been going on. But yeah, that's a good way to do it. It's a hang with the boys, just being around each other. It's great. Yeah, that is how I feel a lot of it. Yeah. It does feel like that a lot of the ways, but y'all aren't the ones on camera. You know what I mean? I'm the one taking the brunt of the anxiety and the putting yourself out there kind of stuff. But in a lot of ways, it is like that. It does feel that way. That's why it's not that big a deal. But there is kind of like this expectation to perform. I guess that's what it would call it, like a performance. But yeah, let's not talk about it. We're back. We back, baby. Bought a system from Newegg. JT Bivens did $400 for a 5600 GT system. I guess the G system. Sadly, one stick of RAM and the power supply has no support for any GPU. Huh? So, one stick of it only came with one stick of RAM, and the power supply is so weak. Got it. So a 3050 6 gig it is. I do not feel like replacing the PSU. That's fair. I mean, that's an okay price for what you got. I mean, yeah, you could replace some stuff, but not everything is gonna be like that. So that's a pretty good buy. When I first read it, I thought it was broken, but I understand what you're saying now. Nice little find. Reluctant Hero, what's up, man? Good to see you. Your voice sounds a little different. Well, I actually went through puberty over the weekend. That might be it. All you need is a foot cam. That would never happen. Now, look, people will judge OnlyFans creators a lot. But if someone offered me $100 to show my feet, I would probably do it. You know what I mean? $1,000? I'm going in between each toe with honey. I'm doing whatever you want. It is just for Fortnite for the kids, LOL. Then perfect, yeah. I mean, yeah, that's perfect then. Oh, I need some water. I sound like a squeaker? Does my mic sound weird? Is that it? It might be my mic. Does it actually sound that weird? Here, let me see. Maybe I need to unplug and replug my mic. Test. Oh my god. It's absolutely a squeaker. Why didn't y'all tell me? Yeah, I'm hearing it now. This is horrific. This is insane. Yeah, very high-pitched. Very high-pitched. Here, I'm going to unplug and replug. We'll see if that helps. Did that work? That's not the right mic. Oh, there we go. That's better, huh? I can hear it now. It sounds normal. Why did it take someone 5 minutes in a stream to tell me that I sound like... Yeah, well... Y'all are being way too nice. If something is... I thought you were doing it for the comedy. Okay, that's fair. That does sound like something I would do. Alright, let me turn off... I don't want to hear myself anymore. That's not necessary. This one. Okay. But it sounds good now, right? Yeah. I heard it too. It sounded crazy. Sounds like a voice mod. Yeah. I heard it. It is like Chipmunk, yeah. If no paid $1 million, it would be instant. Oh yeah, of course. If anyone paid $1 million, Donald Trump could show up at my door and says, Jason, I've got a clear, crisp $1 million beer. A bill right here with your name on it. You just show me those tootsies and it's yours. I'm showing him. We're all out here grinding 9-to-5 jobs. Meanwhile, OnlyFans creators are buying their third house. So, not to defend OnlyFans creators, but to kind of defend them. It's just like YouTube. There's only a very small portion of people making money on OnlyFans, and it is crazy, the disparity. So on YouTube, there are smaller creators like me who do at least make some money, but on OnlyFans, there truly is like a tiny, minuscule amount of people, and they are making all the money. Like they are making insane amounts of money, and their overhead is like nothing, right? So with YouTube, you at least have to like, I mean, you buy camera gear and stuff for OnlyFans as well, but you generally need to hire people and to do things to have like a really big sustaining channel on YouTube. But on OnlyFans, a lot of it is like, oh my god, the overhead is so low. So it's like a couple of people making a lot of money. Yeah. But 99.9999% of them are making like $0 or maybe like some tips here and there, like $5, $10. Like it's very low. But in any industry, there's going to be the top of the top who are, you know, trillionaires or whatever. Wait, I thought it was cute. You know, if you have a helium problem, we won't judge. Please judge me if I'm doing drugs on on stream. We back, boys. I got a super steal on my local marketplace. Got an Arctis Nova Pro wireless for $100, barely used. Very nice. I have not used those personally, but I'm familiar with them. Let us know about your video creation process. I'd love to hear what goes into a video for sure. HX. So right now I am working on a video talking about the RTX 3070, which is kind of like the last, okay, not last, but it was a mid-range card, right? 3070. It's not a 3060. It's not a 3080. I would call it a mid-range card for NVIDIA back in the day. Now the 5070 has 12 gigs of RAM, so they're mid-range, but it also costs more. But their mid-range now does have 12 gigs of RAM. So I would say the 3070, and of course the 4070 as well, because I think that had 8 gigs as well. But 3070 is the last reasonably priced you can find used now mid-range card that still had 8 gigs of RAM. And so I'm going over a video basically just talking about the performance in 2020. Is it worth the money? Is it worth the value? I'm working on that, but that has a sponsor attached to it that I don't even know if I can talk about. It's because their product doesn't come out until next month. Yeah, I don't think it matters. Yeah, so it's Okinos. If y'all are familiar, they make a lot of budget cases, and but they're all pretty good, and so they're sponsoring that video. And so the PC that all the benchmarks are being done in is a Okinos case. That's a new case for them. It's right behind me. That guy. So so that's what I'm working on now. But again, I can't release that video for like a month. So I'll probably have it edited in the next day or two, but I'm already really behind, because what's going to happen is that I'm behind on production because I went on vacation to PAX West. And so that means nothing got done when I was gone. And now I'm working on something that won't release until later. So it means there's going to be another like big gap between videos, which is kind of why I'm doing the stream. It's kind of to bridge the gap, to let y'all know I'm not dead. But that'll be good. I don't have many sponsors these days, so Okinos is a pretty cool company to work with. So I'm glad they reached out to do that. And then the following one, I have another video. I have 2 videos that are going to come out after that. One of them is a dedicated one for a monitor company, which I don't usually do those, but it's like I said, there's not many sponsors these days, so I'm going to give it a shot. Mostly because I don't make monitor content really, and the last time I did, it did really bad. So I need to figure out like how to make that interesting. I don't really know much about monitors other than they look good. So, and then I have another video that's super secret. It's so secret I don't even want to say what it's about, because it's such a good idea, and I looked it up. No one's done it before, and I mean, there are people like other creators who are very fast to make things, and I'm not. So I'm afraid they're gonna take the idea and make it before I do. But that one won't have a sponsor on it. It's like 100% my idea, so it's just shilling my hats and my shirts and stuff on the store. So, but it'll be really fun to make that video at least, or it'll be very interesting at the very least. I think it has potential to do really, really well, because basically the title of the video is a question that I think people ask a lot, but no one has like substantially answered, and I'm gonna answer it. and that's kind of, but it takes a long time to answer that. And so, yeah, and I'm doing more research on it. Nice, you're getting that Okinos money. Yeah, I don't know how much money they have, but uh, but they do have. They're cool to work with. I've worked with them before, and they're not like a lot of sponsors are really annoying to work with, especially when they're not like English isn't their first language, because they will like there's a big culture difference, and especially in the work world, the way people talk to each other and the way they have different expectations. Where in some companies it's like they, or not some companies, sorry, in some countries they work Saturday and Sunday, and I mean I'm a independent creator, so I do often work on Sunday, Saturday, and Sunday, but I'm not sitting there for 8 hours, right? I'm gonna pop in, answer an email here, answer an email there, or sometimes I don't. And then sometimes I take a few days on the weekday off. Like I'm not consistent like that. I don't work in an office like them. So in a lot of other countries, they like don't understand that. And so if you don't answer an email within a day, they're like, hey, are you there? What's going on? But Okinos has been pretty cool about that. They are just a normal company. So I would much rather make less money working for a cool company than make more money working for like a really annoying company. Some of them have been really very annoying. I actually like that monitor, but thanks, Hazard. I think it didn't get a lot of views, and I understand why. It was kind of a weird concept, and I think it's a question that not many people ask, and it really can't be shown in a video. But I appreciate that. It's Asus, isn't it? No, it's not Asus. I wish. I would love to work with Asus. I don't know how good they are to work as a sponsor, but Asus is one of the bigger tech manufacturers. I would love to work with Asus, MSI, Acer, Gigabyte. I'll work with any Taiwanese manufacturers. That would be cool. Any of those big companies, generally they have they're big enough to have marketers in other countries, and even like they're big enough to like not be so toxic, at least with the marketing people from what I've seen and talking to Nerd on a Budget. So I think it'd be okay to work with them. That'd be cool. Embargoed? I actually don't think I'm embargoed. I just don't. It's just the fact that the video has to come out that day because that's when the case comes out. So I'm pretty sure I can talk about it. They just don't want me to make a video about a product that's not out yet. You know what I mean? And so I think they're like, make the video now, but then release it the day we release the product. So. Oh, they sponsored Toasty Bro's last video for their monitor. Oh, very cool. Yeah, I would love that. No, this company is KTC. If y'all have heard of them, they're kind of a newer, and they make budget monitors, but they're kind of like on the good side of lower end. Like they're budget, but they're not like what is this garbage kind of budget. Their monitors seem pretty good. So they could be, it's like an up and coming brand, I feel like. But their monitor did just come in today, and I haven't had a chance to look at it yet. FedEx, dude, FedEx sucks. Oh my God. Have y'all experienced this? That FedEx is just the worst by far. I mean, I get a lot of stuff delivered over the years, and without fail, and it's different delivery drivers too, so I can't just say it's like the one driver sucks. Working with FedEx is always like the worst experience. Like they leave my stuff at other houses. That guy who was dropping off the monitor today, he was supposed to get my signature. He just didn't. Like, he just left it there and signed it himself. And I went out to talk to him about it. I'm like, hey, do you need my signature? He was already in the truck. He goes, no, I assumed you were home, so I just signed it for you. I'm like, dude, that defeats the purpose. Like, what do you mean you signed it for me? You just left an expensive monitor at my door. What if someone stole it? That would be on you. I just feel like it's always FedEx, man. It's always FedEx that does this crap. If y'all remember from a few years ago, I did that sponsored video on that robot lawnmower. If y'all remember that thing's not cheap. It's really expensive. And FedEx was also supposed to get a signature for it. First, they didn't get a signature, and they dumped it at a house that was on a different street. Like, literally not even my street. Thank God the people who lived there are nice and, like, came to our house and said, hey, we have your package. That was super cool of them, not knowing how expensive it was. But like, it's just totally unacceptable. You don't really get that with UPS or USPS. Like Obviously, USPS and UPS will have their issues. I'm not saying they're perfect, but the amount, like the frequency range, is so high with FedEx specifically. I worked for FedEx for about a year loading trucks. Managers would say, if it's fragile, throw it harder. Yeah, that's so unacceptable and like so nasty. It's like a nasty way. Like, I'm not saying, I know it's impossible to expect them to like carefully fragile, like, you know, I get it. Things are gonna get thrown around, but I have heard a lot about that where it's like kicking it and like just not caring at all, and it's like because there's like no repercussions. It's like, come on, man. Kuri is the best for budget in my opinion, but KTC is good as well. Okay, very cool. I think I've heard of Kuri, but I've never used them. KTC builds OEM monitors for Dell and others. Oh, very cool. That makes sense. You just had a Scepter 165 hertz 27-inch monitor die on me, just out of the blue, 0 power. That sucks, man. That sucks. We have a 32-inch TV that we use downstairs for our DAC board. And if y'all don't know what that is, it's like a monitor that like, it's monitor software that shows like your calendars and your photos. It's like, we use it as a calendar essentially. And I only bought it like 2 years ago. It was really cheap. It was like Black Friday from Walmart brand ONN. But I knew it was going to be bad quality because we're just putting a calendar on it. I'm like, I don't care if it's OLED or whatever. It's just going to be a calendar. And it's been fine. Now the backlight is starting to flicker. And it's only been 2 years. I'm like, that's not good for ONN. Don't buy ONN monitor. Don't buy ONN televisions. My goodness. Asus, they make that RG brand. I think I've heard of them before, Hayden. We know your entire house is covered in Asus. The question is, does shouting at your screen when losing help you to win? No way. I'll never understand people who shout at video games. They're like, they're psychos. Like, or people who like throw controllers. Go to therapy, dude. What helped you choose your YouTube profile picture? Honestly, I believe I was making the channel on my phone and it said you need a profile picture, and so I took a selfie. And at that time I had longer hair and I had a beard, and I think I was doing one of these or something like and I just took it as a placeholder, and then I forgot to change it. And so yeah, that's honestly, YouTube profile picture is one of those things that I don't think actually matters. I don't think, like, you can make it into like a really nice branded logo. You can do this, you can do that. It doesn't matter. As long as people recognize what it is you, like, so like they see it in the future and they associate that with your channel. I don't think it really matters. No one really cares about profile pictures or the banner on your channel. You know what I mean? I don't think people actually care about that. It's a fun way to do branding, but I don't think it matters that much. So I'm probably just gonna leave it. Maybe if I hit 100,000 subscribers, I'll change it. And that'll be like my present for hitting 100K, which y'all should know is the true goal of this channel. My main goal of this channel is to hit 100,000 subscribers. That is, and to get a plaque. If I get a plaque, I think I would be okay with quitting YouTube and being happy. Like, just being like, yeah, okay, I was able to do that. That's pretty cool. And that would be fine. But I don't know if y'all saw, if you go to my channel, I have a new banner that was, I think if y'all were here last time, this is that collage that I said that that artist made for me, Ali Khan, or gluing shit on paper on Twitch. And I got a really good digital picture of it and I put it as my new banner. So that changed. Your profile picture looks tough. It's just literally like holding the phone really close and going, like, that's it. I don't know. I'm not aware of KTC. I think it hasn't made it here to Australia. I need to check them out. They sound great for the price. Oh, yeah. I didn't know that. Yeah, they're an up-and-coming Chinese brand. So KTC stands for Key to Combat. Okay. That's cool. I thought it would be an oiled-up PC component video. Oh, well, one day. Dude. Sam, that exists. Back in like 10 plus years ago, there were a lot of people doing that. they were making PCs that were in fish tanks and then filling it up with mineral oil, and just it's just a whole PC submerged in mineral oil. You should check it out. It's pretty crazy. It's just so messy, you know what I mean? Hilarious, genuine profile picture. I love the backstory. Iconic at this point. You're right on the dot. As long as it's recognizable, you're good. Yeah. That's why I don't feel any need to change it. I was going to change it after like my first video, the first video that I posted that like got some traction. I'm like, oh crap, I actually need to do something. And I'm like, it's just mine. It's my face. The channel is named after me. It's my name. So the profile picture should just be my face. Like, who cares? Like, so I have no use to change it. But I don't really use that picture in a lot of places. Like, I think my Twitter account doesn't even use that photo. 73K more to go. Let's get it done. That's awesome. It's to blow up and act like you don't know, buddy. Wait, is to blow up and act like you don't know nobody. Oh, that would be my dream. No. My dream is to hit 100K. And I wouldn't call it blowing up. Blowing up, it would be if I got 100K overnight. I've been doing this channel for like over 2 years now, and I only have 27,000. If you know Nerd on a Budget, Danny, he hit 26,000 in 1 year, like, and that was in like 2016. And I've been like, mine is more like 3 years actually. It's like 2.5, or it could be 3. And so, yeah, I wouldn't call it blowing up. It is very slow, but I'm okay with that. I think a slow and steady increase is kind of is like the proper way to do it anyway. Like if it started picking up, that would be awesome, but I don't post enough for that to happen. But like when you see people go overnight, they get like a huge bump from some bigger creator and they get like 100K overnight or 200, 500K. We've seen 1 million even. And then what happens is that the next video they post is like a boom slam in the gutter because all of those people subbed out of pity or for shout out. And if the subs aren't watching your videos, it hurts your performance so bad. And so basically you'll have a channel that has 1 million subscribers, but the views are getting like a couple thousand or even a couple hundred views. And that's the biggest issue when you get a huge shout out. If you get a huge shout out, you have to be the type of channel that can handle it and actually like keep that audience, because if you don't, it's going to hurt you in the long run. Yeah, I think Toasty Bros did a mineral PC oil back then. It was definitely an interesting concept. Yeah, everyone's done one. That's why I don't think anyone does it anymore, because it was so overdone. A Diddy PC is once submerged in baby oil? Dude, you might actually get canceled for naming your video like a Diddy PC and just having it submerged in baby oil. I think that would actually get some traction because people would start posting it on Twitter trying to cancel you. Like, that would be pretty crazy. Cover your PC with peanut butter for 100K? I would do it. Yeah, whatever. Maybe not my PC, but I'd cover a PC. That's a reasonable request, I think. ConnectWise just ended their free tier of remote access software. Loved it. Gave me a custom URL and everything. Looking at Rustdesk, Zoho, or Optidesk now. Interesting. I'm not familiar with any of those companies. If it's remote access, what I use to get my to repair my mom's computer is AnyDesk. If that's the same kind of software you're talking about, because AnyDesk, she can go to their URL and it's all done in the browser sometimes. And it's easy to say, go to anydesk.com, click the huge download button, and it's done. And give me the code. Like it's been very successful for simplicity. But in terms of like connecting to my stuff, generally I like Parsec, and Parsec's free. And Parsec you can game on, which is amazing. So there's like really low latency. So yeah, I'll use Parsec if I ever need to do that. I actually haven't heard of any. I haven't heard of Rustdesk, Zoho, or Optidesk now. That might be in like the IT world, like the business IT world, which I haven't been to in a while. So it could be that. Yeah, that works. That works too. Have I ever tried IEMs? I have. I'm not a fan. It hurts my ears. I don't really like that kind of stuff. It just hurts my ears. So very rarely. The only headphones I'll generally wear are big cans like these. And if I truly have to have an in-ear, I'll use like specifically AirPods Pro. But that's generally it. I don't really like having stuff in my ears unless I absolutely have to. If you were to build a sub $800 AM5 build, what would you use? Sub 800, I'd go with a 7500F for the CPU, and the GPU I would pick a RX 9060. Yeah, RX 9060. The 8 gig one. Maybe the 16 if you can afford it, but that's kind of pushing it. Well, I guess the 7500 is like $100. I think the 9060 is like 300 maybe. So $400 and $400 for the rest. I think it's doable. Yeah, that's probably what I would do. I know it has different content though. True. If you started doing Facebook Marketplace deal hunting, it would grow like that. Your channel is more tech-based. How-tos are a slow burn. Yeah, definitely. His videos, if you notice, they are they're great for going viral. Like, people love, and it's something I'm like thinking about, like, how can I incorporate this into what I do? Because he goes out into the world, right, and talking to people. And if you watch any big YouTuber, that's what they're doing, tech or otherwise. Like, they're out in the world, they're doing things. If you like, let's compare to like Linus Tech Tips. Most of their videos are handheld, meaning they don't put it on a tripod. It means they have someone sitting there holding a camera pointing at them, even though they don't really have to, right? But having that is like really gets the viewer invested, right? And they're usually talking to each other. Like, yes, they could just have a video where Linus builds a PC by himself, but generally he's like talking to the writer, he's talking to someone helping him, he's talking to the camera people. It's like a whole community of people. So even if he's like not going out into the world, that is so much better than hearing me in my room alone building a computer. You know what I mean? So like, I really want to try to figure out how I can incorporate something like that into what I do, and make it more interactive and less like stilted. But yeah, like you said, his content is more go out into the world, and that has a higher chance of crazy things happening. Like, his GPU only gave me 1 FPS, or this guy ghosted me. But those, for every video that happens, there's about a lot that are like nothing happens. A guy shows up and says, okay, here's the money, see you later. And then Danny's like, okay, well, there's no content there. I just came out here and I did all this, and the guy was boring, right? So he's kind of hoping something goes wrong. And that's the difference. You can't write that kind of video. Danny, if you notice in those videos, he's talking to them, trying to get more info out of them, trying to get more content, because in reality, most people just get it and go. And so that's why Danny like tests it there. He does a big conversation about it, asks about the past and the future. He's trying to create the content, and he's doing a great job of it. And that's how you know Danny's a good creator, because he's trying to build something where there is nothing, right? But there are times where it just is just dead and flat, and people just don't want to talk, and it's just like, oh, okay, whatever, here you go. And he has to create a video from nothing, because what if nothing crazy happens, right? And he has to think of something like his most recent one was like, this couple wanted to sell this thing fast, right? Like, he had to come up with that, because nothing salacious happened during the video. He just had to think of something like, what do I name this video that is essentially me buying parts from two people who I need drug money or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and so it's hard to do that because it's unscripted essentially. But that kind of content that is like that is like more likely to go viral. It's more likely to get a lot of views because people like uncertainty. So it is very different what I do, but I'd like to get more into that. I just don't do that. I don't want to go on Facebook Marketplace and meet people. It's like my least favorite thing to do. But I am looking for more ways to do stuff that has me out in the world, or it has like more interactive, or like maybe I pay someone to hold the camera or something. I don't know. Like, I'm trying to think about it. I think about it sometimes. HX, this is very true. Me and Danny were actually talking about this. He says, I think the only channel I know that actually succeeded after a huge shout out from creator is Jacksepticeye. Me and Danny, this was 2 years ago, we were watching some old video where it was the one where PewDiePie suggests Jacksepticeye.
And you go to all the other creators. PewDiePie didn't only suggest him; he suggested a bunch of them. And you go to all the other creators, their channels are all dead. And you can see they got a huge bump right after PewDiePie suggested them, and then it just went down. And you know why Jacksepticeye is the only one who it worked? It's because he had it in him. Like Jacksepticeye, you could tell he had it in him to retain that audience. He had it. He was a big creator. He just wasn't big yet. And that's just kind of how it works. Like you either have it or you don't. And not to say that those channels that died, they didn't have it. They just didn't have it yet, right? It takes time to hone being on camera and to run a channel. It takes a long time to do that, years. And Jack just had it early. He had it really good at that time. And so it was like the perfect time for him to blow up. But those other people, it wasn't ready for them. Like they were not ready for that. And so it just killed them. So you just have to be ready, and you have to like keep going in that direction. How is Brownie? Is he doing okay? Brownie is doing great. Yeah, he's doing very good. He gained some weight recently, which is good because he was a little bit underweight when he had the surgery. But yeah, he's totally back to normal. He's doing good. He's not overweight. I'd say he's like at a normal weight now. So that's awesome. Yeah, he's doing great. He hasn't had any kind of relapses from the issues yet. He's been totally good. So yeah, thanks for asking. Yeah, but the anxiety of talking to so many people and the burnout involved would kill me. I must stay in the back of the shop and just leave me be kind of tech. Me too. And that's the issue. If you've noticed, if y'all watch Danny's channel, he just released a video of him doing interviews at PAX. And I'm in the background of some of them because we were hanging out. He is much better at that kind of stuff than me. I also have a lot of anxiety from just going up to random people and talking to them, and like I'm not good at that. Danny's very good at that. I mean, Danny's the kind of person to talk to his Uber driver. I'm not. I'm type of like just not good at it, right? So there is a lot of it's a skill you have to learn, just kind of like public speaking. But it's something that I think can be learned for sure. So yeah, I am not going to do anything like him. That's his content, but I'd like to just something in that realm, like something where I'm like going out into the world. I love see the little guy climb your stuff. Yeah, I have the door open just in case he comes in here, because usually when he hears my voice, and if the door is closed, he insists on coming in. He has to. Fair enough. I'm a budget baller, so for me, I've been much more satisfied with the sound quality on IEMs under 150 compared to over-ear headsets for the same price. Okay. Well, if sound quality is your number one, that's awesome. For me, and we don't talk about headphones too much, but I'll just talk about it. Comfort is king for me. If a headphone is uncomfortable, I'm not gonna wear it. So it literally has to be incredibly comfortable. And then the other stuff comes later. But sound quality, they all sound pretty good to me. Most of the ones that are comfortable enough, they all sound pretty good. And they have their highs and lows. But yeah, if they're not comfortable. So like for these are not the most comfortable ones I had. The Corsair RGB Void Pros are far more comfortable. I have those as a backup. I use those for like 6 or 7 years. I use these because they're pretty comfortable, but they have a 300-hour battery life. And I charge them once a month. And that is huge to me. Not have to worry about charging them is amazing. So like they're pretty comfortable, and they sound good, and the battery life is insane. And so the same with my WMX4s, which are the ones from Sony. They have like a 5 out already, and they have a 6, but they don't iterate enough on it for me to care. And I have tried, there's an alternative to this that's from Beats. They released it, I think, last year or the year before. And it was specifically kind of like a budget AirPod Pro Max, because they're a little bit cheaper. They're like $300, I think. I think they even went down to like $180. Like they got really cheap because nobody bought them. I tried them. They are the most uncomfortable headphones you'll ever wear, especially if you have a big head, because they clamp really hard. And people are like, I like the clamp. It's good for sound. And I'm like, I can't even hear myself think, dude. It hurts so much. It's so uncomfortable. So I couldn't wear them. Like comfort is so important. I just can't do it. And I wear headphones a lot. Basically, if I'm here at my desk, I'm wearing these headphones. When I go on a plane, I wear these. If I'm sleeping, I generally wear these as well. So I wear headphones a lot. So the comfort is like very important to me. So, lol, I'm going on an adventure, pretty much. I'd hate to wear something that's uncomfortable for hours on end. I guess I'm just lucky with how in-ears fit. Then yeah. I mean, if they're super comfortable for you and they sound good, yeah, go for it. There's never a perfect answer when it comes to hardware, and that's why I love this hobby. There really is so much subjectivity to it. Like those Corsair Void Pros, they are so comfortable, but they're not great at a lot of stuff. They don't sound amazing. They sound fine, right? And even the audio quality in the mic doesn't sound good in any of these. I mean, why do you think I'm using this? These headphones have a detachable mic, but it sounds like a detachable mic, so I don't even bother. The headset I bought has a rubber bungee under the band that keeps it off your head. Oh, I know what you're talking about. It's comfortable. It also keeps you from getting the streamer's dent. I have seen that. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Like, there's a lot of them that have like a second band right here, and so this part doesn't touch your head. I've seen those a lot. I have AliExpress knockoff IEMs. They're great. I've heard a lot of people love the AliExpress ones. There's a lot of really good Chinese companies that make, you know, $10, $15, $20 IEMs that are like amazingly high quality compared to like $100 or more of you know, internet or American brands or Japanese brands or whatever. So I have heard a lot of that. My wife has some AliExpress knockoff IEMs that we got for her because she uses an MP3 player that doesn't have wireless, and so she wanted something wired, and we found someone there, and I forget what they're called, but it was just one of the KZ whatevers, like I don't know, but something people recommend. It's kind of the go-to, and she said it sounds pretty good, but she's not a stickler for that kind of stuff. Daddy needs his medicine. What is your favorite graphics card if we're talking aesthetics only? I really like the new Founders cards from NVIDIA. I know a lot of people think they're boring because they're like just gray and black or whatever. I think I like that motherboards and stuff are all gray and black now because I think the colors should come elsewhere. I think it's more fun when your whole computer is like gray, black, or white, and it fits in any case, meaning you don't have to like worry about colors clashing, and then you do your own color through RGB on the fans. That to me is like, I'm good enough. Or even if you want to do like, what are those called? Cable extensions, if you want more color, I think that's a good job too. But for just aesthetics, I just like a clean brick. I just want a brick with some nice edges and some nice metal finish. And I think the NVIDIA Founders Edition on the 5000 series looks really, really good. I like it a lot, actually. I had I tested out the 5090 when it came out, and it is a big card, but not as big as the 4090, and it just looks so good. I don't know, it's a weird feeling, because like one of the fans, there's like a one big fan, and then there's like the other one's kind of hidden behind the design. I liked it a lot more than the Founders Edition from the 3000 series, which are okay too. The ARC B580 Founder is really sleek. Let me check. I think I remember what that is. That sounds familiar. It's like blue, right? Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty simple. But if you notice, that one, Hayden, is just a black box, right? So it is sleek. It's just like very soft edges on those curves around the fans, so it doesn't feel sharp. It's a matte finish, so that card does not feel sharp. I mean, physically sharp. I mean, like, people like to touch it. You know what I mean? Like, it feels sharp. I like those soft edges, actually. Power Color Red Devils are unique and cool looking. I do like that. I've seen those before as well. They're really big, and there's like a lot of red and RGB, and they just have like these really interesting gamer designs. I think that would go really cool with like an MSI build, because they love a lot of red too. So if you're going for like a red and black one, you can get a devil card and then just like a bunch of MSI components. I think that'd be pretty cool. There was a time where MSI did these cards, and I think it's for the 10 series, where it was like, I think it was MSI did them. It was like half of it was red, and then half of it was gray. And then they released a special edition one that was green, and so it was green and gray, and it was specifically from MSI. That was really cool. That's one of my favorite cards actually, even though I said I don't like color. There's just something about that that's pretty unique. The NVIDIA Super Series leaks are out, and there's a big jump in VRAM. Do you think the leaks are real, just like the prices? 5070 Super 599, 5070 Ti 799, 5080 Super 1199. I have not heard of that. I don't really keep up with GPU rumors, but just looking at that, there's a chance it's real. I don't know if y'all have noticed, a lot of cards are going on sale. Earlier today, I saw you could buy a 5070 in stock from Amazon, and it came with a game, and it was like $40 cheaper than MSRP, like some sale. And I'm like, NVIDIA cards don't go on sale randomly, man. And like, that is pretty crazy. Like, they don't even stay in stock, right? But they were able to do that. So if those cards were not on sale, I would say those prices are wrong. But if they are having a hard time selling the original set, there's a good chance they release these ones at these prices. So they're not like so much blown out of the water. But by releasing a 5070 Super for only $50 more than the original, it pretty much kills the original. Like, nobody will ever buy it. So if they're going to slow down production on the original set and start making these, that's fine. But that time needs to come now, unfortunately. And I think they have too many. Just speaking from like an insider perspective. So maybe. It could be. I mean, those prices don't seem too outlandish. They're not too out there. Mike Brazone. What's up, Mike? Good to see you, man. How are you? Close enough. Yeah, that's pretty much hot. Yeah, I agree. Do you have a fave audio recording editing software? I used Audacity to capture sound from a cassette tape and Premiere Pro to denoise it today for a customer. Very nice. That's pretty much what I use. I could use Audition to record audio if I wanted to, but it's just, when I record, I'm just talking into a mic, right? I don't need anything fancy. Audition to me is more of a audio editing material, but to get the actual sound recorded, I will generally use Audacity because it's just faster. Like, for just getting it recorded, Audacity is super fast. There's like no point in doing anything else because you don't need to do settings. You can do all that in post. So yeah, I'll use Audacity. And then whenever I edit stuff, I don't really edit sound by itself. I'll generally edit a video and the sound will be in it. So I'll use Premiere Pro generally, yeah. And denoising is pretty good, yeah. The AI tools in there are really good. Denoise and de-reverb and all that stuff. It's pretty good. So yeah, what you described is exactly what I do. I just use Audacity right into Premiere Pro. I have a green and black MSI 4060. Very nice. I didn't even know they made that for the 4000s. I like the 6000 series founders, even though they copied the homework of NVIDIA 20 series. It was a different time, Rad Robot, okay? I'm a fan of the Sapphire Pulse aesthetic. That's a pretty good one too. I like that. 5070 Super 18 gig is going to be the meta for 1440p if it's actually on sale for $599. Okay, so if 5070 Super has 18 gigs, it's not going to be on sale for $599. Just so we're all clear. Because what you just said is right. If that is that, for that price, that's the card to get. But I'm telling you now, unless NVIDIA is like getting rid of their gaming department, they're not going to sell an 18 gig card for $600. Like, it's just not going to happen. So either the card will have less VRAM than you're expecting. That's not going to happen. I don't even think it'll have 16. I think the 57 Super will probably have 12. And if it has 16, it's not going to be 600. Like, I don't think so. But that's my opinion. Just my opinion. Yep, Asus Prime 5070 12 gig for $529 with Borderlands 4. Yeah, that's the one I saw. And I checked it hours later and it was still in stock. I'm like, wow, nature is healing. I actually kind of like the 5070. I think it's good. I think it's much better than the 4070 was for the price, and I think it's a good card. It'd be even better if it was $500. If it was $499, that's a good buy, I feel like. Which, if you were going to buy Borderlands, that's a sub 500 card. Working on channel x86, PC and DGPU supply data, sales trend, trade-in trend data as usual. If y'all don't know Mike, he loves this kind of stuff. He loves the nerdy back end of it. DGPU price slide into second half as supers get dropped on top and push prices of existing new even lower, that also push down used price. I mean, that would be great. That's what we all want, Mike. I think that would be fantastic. And so if that data is accurate just from the trends, yeah, that sounds great to me. I think we're all on board for that. Both the 5070 Ti and 5080 Super will have 24 gigs. I don't think so. And the 5070A has 18 gigs. And NVIDIA has also limited the production of all 8 gig GPUs, especially the 50 series set. I did hear about the limiting production. Yeah, a 5070 Ti and a 5080 Super having the same amount of VRAM. 24 is like a lot, man. It's just like it should. I want it to, but I just know how greedy NVIDIA is. And so you never, I don't know. That would be great. I mean, it'd be truly, truly great if that's how it works out. CPU price slide continues too for all but the top shelf demanded price that offsets all other channels discounting in cases and case gear and mid-shelf board. Oh my god, so many to clear. Yeah, I've heard it's, but it's not also, it's not like, I mean, we can sit here and say like, oh, it's because the prices are too high. It's because all the Intel chips are garbage. It's like, well, there's also a lot of financial uncertainty in the world. The US is basically in a recession right now, so people are going to spend less and less on new hardware. There's a lot. I mean, we have tariffs in and out. People don't know, is now the right time to buy? Is next week? Who knows? So it's like a lot going on that people just don't want to buy. So yeah, there's a lot of reasons for it for sure. But if things get cheaper, hey, that's great. I mean, that's what people want, right? And obviously, if the price gets cheaper, we'll probably see more sales. I keep trying to find a reason to upgrade my 3070, but I haven't found one yet that I feel is worth it. Yeah, unless you're pushing, 1440 or 4K and you're not getting performance you want because of VRAM limitations, I think the 3070 is still a pretty good card. That's what's in this machine right there. That's a Zotac one. You can see all the tacky green lighting there. I like the 3070 actually. I like it a lot. The only downside of it is that it's 8 gig of VRAM. I think for the price, it's awesome. If it was 12 gig, it would be legendary status. Hey, Grimlong, what's up, dude? I just want to say I love the HomeLab video. Thanks, dude. I just bought an HL15 case to build my own NAS. Hope to see more HomeLab stuff in the future. Thanks, man. That's super nice of you. Do y'all want to hear me crunch the food? It's very loud. Here, I'll go over here. The more you don't buy, the more you save. Very true. With the NAS, Grimlong, you know what's funny? Right after that video, so if you remember the $200 gaming PC, which was built in a HP Z440. Do you remember that build? And then you have my home server, which is using like a 12400 and it's like a bunch of stuff. I took my home server out and I put it all into the HP Z440. So not the chip, not the motherboard, not the PSU, all that stuff, but I was able to successfully migrate my entire server, the 2 NVMe drives, the 5 hard drives, the 10 gig networking, all into the HP Z440 just for fun, just to see if I could. And it all worked, and it was really fast and quiet and really nice, and it all fit. And I was testing Plex with it, and it's like, unless you're running a bunch of Plex, like 10 different streams, and they're all encoding or decoding, they're all transcoding, you won't see a difference. The NAS performance was the same. And the only time I could see a difference was when if I wanted way more virtual machines, which I don't want 10, 15, 20 virtual machines. I want 1 or 2 max. But the chip in the HP Z440 was able to do what I was already doing, and it wasn't like maxing out the CPU. It was still hovering at like 10, 15, 20% at most. You know what I mean? And I was able to do a bunch of Plex streams, except for when you hit like 10. And this is on the HP Z440, which is running a 2667 V3 chip, which is like a 10 plus year old server chip. So it just tells you, just so you know, I know you're building your own home lab, don't get more than you need because you don't need it. Okay? What I'm saying is that like the HP Z440 cost $100, right? And I was able to put my entire server into it and it works just like I was using. And if I had done that from the start, yes, there is more bill when it comes to like power because the chip is just less efficient. But even if you like look at the numbers, it would still take many years for the efficiency of the newer chip to make sense buying it over something cheaper. Like it's just that much cheaper because you're saving so much money. So just be aware of that when you're building out yours. You don't need to spend a lot of money on your home lab. A lot of people feel the need like, oh, and I also felt the need. That's why I'm warning y'all. You don't need to spend hundreds or thousands of dollars on it. Doing stuff like that, like virtual machines and all that, you need far less CPU compute power and GPU compute power than you think you do. The fact that I was able to move all my stuff into a 10-year-old $100 PC and it's like perfectly good, it just tells you, you know what I mean? So just be wary of that. But again, making a home server is a hobby. So if it's fun to you and you've allocated your money appropriately and you want to build the biggest, baddest server on the planet, then you do it. You know what I mean? It's a hobby. So if you want to do that, I say go for it. It is a lot of fun. And it is fun to see, just like when we buy a gaming PC, just because I mostly play Fortnite doesn't mean I don't want a 5090. You know what I mean? Not me personally. I just mean like some people want more than they need because it's fun. And that's okay. But it was pretty fun putting it all into the cheap PC. That was pretty cool, actually. I could not believe it all fit and it all worked. And like, I had to use some adapters because there's no NVMe slots on the board. So I had to get an adapter that like holds 2. But there's enough lanes in there. There's enough PCIe lanes that I was able to get it all working. Yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool. Peter, what's up, Peter? How's it going, man? Yeah, it has been a while. How are you? Thanks for coming in. Use your consumer power to get what you want from companies that are doing the right thing by customers, and you have the power to get the best parts for your needs. Yeah, absolutely. It's always hard to find companies that are doing the right thing. I think it's really easy to say all corporations are evil, and maybe inherently so, but always be wary that a company only cares about as much money as they're making by design. You know, it is what it is. And so, but also don't, you hear one person say, I had a bad situation with Asus, right? Or any company. I'm just saying Asus was a recent one. And they say like, oh, their warranty sucks. And then all the other people saying, yeah, the warranty with Asus sucks. And you get them all together. Like, and then everyone thinks, yeah, the warranty always sucks. It drowns out anyone who's had a normal to good example. You know what I mean? And so just be aware that like people are louder and not all companies are inherently evil or good. So you just have to judge them based on what you know, your experiences and what you can do in word of mouth. And never say I'll never buy from this company ever again, but also never say I'm only going to buy from this company forever, because companies change, people change. Just, yeah, use your consumer power is what Nathan said, and I agree with that. Under stream submissions, I just posted specs on a system a buddy of mine bought just to play CS2. You will not believe he bought just for CS2. Okay, I'll pull it up in a second. Good to know. Yeah, for sure, dude. Have fun, though. Building a server is really cool. That's awesome. I'd love to do more home lab stuff. Enterprise IT has just started to upgrade from Xeon Skylake and Cascade Lake. Yep. Typical IT trails like 3 to 4 gens, behind on installed base standardization, known, cheap, best price perf, and no adoption hassles. Chirp, chirp. Yeah, pretty much. I know there's a certain level that people want the newest and greatest, and so they go out and buy it. But for the IT world, they want what works, and so they're going to hold on to stuff that's like super old but just because it's working. Like, it's hard to convince a company to spend a bunch of money, and when you tell them, you're like, why do we need to spend all this money on new stuff? It's like, well, it's going to make it better. It's like, well, how? Is the NAS just going to be faster? No. Okay. It's like, then why? Well, because the old one's getting old and it might break. That's essentially what it comes down to. A lot of IT stuff is that you have to replace it because you want to replace it before it breaks. Isn't that crazy? And Mike's got it. As long as it works, don't fix it. Yes. Trying to get, like, squeeze out every inch of performance does not work in an IT setting. It does not work in an enterprise because you're not only affecting one person, you're affecting, could be thousands, could be tens of thousands, depending on the scale. And even if it's like one employee, like say one employee is like, my computer is a year old, I want a newer one. It's like, well, that one person could affect a lot of people. It could affect a lot of work, and having them in downtime trying to figure out how to get a new computer working, that's also downtime. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff to go in. Robert, what's up, dude? Howdy, not here for a long time, just here for a good time. That's what's up. This is the first stream in a while, so good to see you, Robert. Peter, been busy here, man. Just working on getting parts, flipping burgers, and not going insane. I know you said computers. That's cool, man. I tried to sell a computer recently and had a very hard time. It was like a $900 computer or $1,000 or something, and I was selling it for cost, like basically what I paid to go into it after tax. I just wanted my money back, and it sat for like 3 weeks. No one wants to buy a computer right now. It was very surprising. If it was like a year ago, I think that, or 2 years ago especially, that thing would have flown off because it literally was cost. Like, I didn't charge any money to build the computer, and yeah, it's pretty hard. Or maybe that's just my area. My area has been pretty tough. Robert is everywhere I go. I mean, I feel like a lot of you guys are everywhere you go. Like, there's a small crowd of people who like tech content creators enough to go into their live streams. And so I see a lot of y'all in other channels as well. Even if I don't type, because I don't always leave comments or comment on streams when I'm watching. I see y'all all the time. I see y'all in other channels. Here, let me pull up what JT posted. Oh my gosh. Let me save this image, then I can open it. Okay. Let me do a window capture. And I will do screenshot. Okay, so you said somebody bought this PC specifically for playing Counter-Strike 2. And if y'all don't know, Counter-Strike 2 can be played on a toaster from 15 years ago. Let me make this smaller, but it's still going to go over my face. Here, I'll go over here. He got a 3-year warranty ultimate. I hope that was free. Did he pay for that? Expert assembly and warranty, okay. A recovery drive. All of this might be included. Windows 11 Home. A liquid AIO cooler, a 361. That's a big cooler. Some RGB cables for his GPU. Oh, he got the RGB cables. Those are expensive. I bet this thing looks good. A 2 terabyte Gen 5 drive. That's expensive. That's like $200 something, man. Like maybe even 300. Gen 5 drives are super expensive. Wait, Extreme Custom RAM, 192 gigabytes of DDR5 Corsair Vengeance RAM. My God. Why does he need 192 gigs of RAM to play Counter-Strike. He has 62 and got it just for CS2. Okay, look. I'm going to be real with you. If I was 62, I would probably buy it too. Honestly, I've seen... this is his equivalent of buying a convertible car, okay? We'll just leave it at that. And so I support it, and it's his money, and that's awesome. So, but it is pretty funny to see, for especially for us who are more like budget oriented and like understand that this is way overkill. But I hope he's happy with it. He got a 1600 watt power supply, a Z890 Plus. Okay, got a 5090. Got to get the 5090. An Ultra 9 285K. That's a very expensive one in a Fantex case. How much did he pay? I'm going to guess he paid, man, probably like $6,000. Like, I don't know how much money they charge, but I guarantee you he's going to play this thing for the next 10 or 15 years and never upgrade it. And I think that's kind of the idea. I think like he is future proofing, you know what I mean? And that's why he's done this. You can load Call of Duty into the RAM. Yeah, he totally could, dude. 198, or 192, that's crazy. 5K, I'm guessing between 5 and 6K. I think 6K because he paid someone to build it. So, and they're going to charge extra, right? That's why I'm guessing 6K. Mike's guessing 5. That's pretty funny. I see Dollar Dylan here and in Toasty Bros a lot. I have seen Dylan in the Toasty Bros one, yeah. I am everything, everywhere, all at once. Been getting some sales lately. Good. Jawa's been where I tend to go. Nice. Online. $6K, yeah. I have no clue, man. The last one he returned to Alienware because it did not have enough RAM and it was over 3K. What does he want all this RAM for? Well, why does he want it? What is this man doing with RAM? Surely there's something we don't know. Something going on. Is this man... He's doing something sketchy. Maybe he is putting Counter-Strike 2 directly into his RAM. Yeah, I would guess 6K. Yeah. Ask him, JT, and we can talk about it next time. Because I'm gonna guess 6K. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. But look, if I was 62 and I wanted a new PC and I knew I didn't want to faff about with getting upgrades constantly, I'd buy that. And look, that thing is gonna be awesome. Maybe he thinks RAM is storage. Right, a 10-year life. I always buy for 10-year life, but never new gen. Always the best I can afford of last gen on clearance sale. That's fair. We all have our lines, right? Where we are willing to spend money on hardware and like what we think is worth it. We all should know you are all experts. As much as y'all don't think you're experts, you are experts, because every normie out there has no idea what any of this is. So you are the expert in your life, just so y'all know. And most normies, they think that if I spend more money on the computer, not only will it be better, which it usually is a little bit, but it'll last longer, which we all know is kind of bullcrap, right? But normies look at it that way. So you just have to be aware that they're going to do that. Normies be buying very expensive computers. I've seen it a lot. Like, even young people, though. Someone I went to college with, he must have been 21 at the time. And he got some sign-up bonus for going to the military or something. And he spent all of it on a computer that he never played. And I think he spent at the time like $5,000. Filthy muggles. I don't want to call them muggles, dude. Just call them normies at the very least. At the very most, actually. Not least. Yeah, Nathan's got it. I think with the 62-year-old, the Baller PC is doing it as a flex. And hey, that's awesome. He had the RGB cables. He had like the streamer Lian Li ones. He had that in the list, so I guarantee his computer glows from space. I bet it looks really, really cool. I thought it was funny. Have any of y'all seen Dexter, the show Dexter? So Dexter had a new series recently that just finished releasing. It's a new season, and in the show, one of the serial killers in it, they like go to his house or his apartment or whatever, and he has a gaming PC on his desk, and it's like it's a white PC case with green lights in it. Like he's got green RGB in it, but they don't mention that he is like a gamer at all. But it's certainly a gaming PC. But I think he did work for like a networking company. So I think that was like their way of saying that he's like techie. But it was pretty funny to see a gaming PC on like a normie show. I bought my X570 5800X, 32 gig, 6800, 512 boot, 1 terabyte hot, a lot of storage when I was 62, and the Z28 Heritage 5 Speed 305 when I was 32, which was a vert red hood and deck strips on white with the leather saddle interior and tan cloth top, rear-ended 10 years later in 2002. Gotcha. See, we all have our different things we spend money on. But I have noticed that, especially normies. Normies love to spend money on, like, way too much on not having enough knowledge. And I think it was better, or no, not better. It's better now because we have more knowledge. Back in the day, like 30 years ago, there wasn't, I mean, the internet existed, but you couldn't, like, look up a power supply review. You know what I mean? You couldn't look up what's the best this and hear testimonials. You just kind of had to go for it. Like, you had to, like, you ask people in your life, or you ask the salesmen, right, who are usually incentivized. So people just didn't have knowledge of stuff, and now we have so much knowledge. So I think that's why, like, we're like, you just need to be knowledgeable on everything you're buying. You should. There's no excuse not to know everything about a product, an expensive product that you're about to buy. Like, you should look it up. We have infinite knowledge at our fingertips, literally, in your phone. You have Google, you have AI, you have everything. You can, the entire world of knowledge, you can be looked up in a moment's notice. Like, that is, it still blows my mind to think about when it comes to that. Like, and you think about, what did people do before that, right? It's weird to think about what we did before GPS. Like, I was alive, obviously, but now I'm like, do people just kind of like know where they're going? Like, hearing people give directions, it's like, yeah, take this freeway, exit here, take a left. I'm like, I'm not gonna memorize all that. What are you talking about? Or people, I don't think people actually used maps, like physical maps, to get around their city. They just kind of figured it out. I don't know. I remember in the 1990s, you would get a PC and it was practically obsolete before you got it home to start using it. I have heard about that, actually. I've heard a lot of times, because tech was moving so fast, and because people were just so unknowledgeable about this kind of stuff. Like, it was a combination of the two. Like, you would go to the computer store and you're like, I need a computer for XYZ. Some salesman will sell you something that's probably pretty expensive. And tech was moving so fast that it's like, man, this thing sucks. Really soon after, like, it couldn't last a few years. It would be obsolete. Like, think about, like, the stuff people are using. Like, especially in like the 80s and the early 90s, I think it was especially bad because every year it was like something brand new. Now we have, you know, AM4 lasts 10 years. So it's like, it's a little bit better now, and with more knowledge on it. And I think more companies working together to create standards, which is awesome. Back then it was the Wild West. Everyone wanted to make their own thing. Like, if anyone here was alive in the 90s and the early 2000s, before there were standardized cables, every single cell phone had a different cable. Literally. Like, there was no, oh, are you Lightning or USB-C? It was, what phone do you have? What year? What exact phone? Every single phone had a different charger. So much so that those little kiosks at the mall now that sell like cookies and phone cases, they used to sell chargers. So you would go to those kiosks and tell them what phone you have, and they would give you the exact charger for your phone because you could never borrow one from someone else unless you had the exact phone. And that was like that for like 10, 15 years. Like it was insane to think about. Now you can just use a USB-C cable or whatever. Like I feel like using a lot of that, like we do spend a lot of money. Stuff is expensive. But I feel like back then people spent way more money on stuff like that because now we have more knowledge and less people are getting scammed and more companies are working together to create standards that I feel like we save money in the long run compared to like my parents or my grandparents. You know what I mean? And we have more options to save money. There is no the store down the block that sells everything. And because what are you going to do if they don't have what you want? You couldn't order online at a certain point. Like, and even because even in the 90s, there was online shopping, but it wasn't good. Like, wasn't really good at all. It was whatever. True, late 1990 accelerated obsolescence in the frequency race. Yeah, totally. Thomas Brothers maps? What is that? I don't even know what that is. I know what maps are. Was that like the name of the company that made them? I always used to, when I was a kid, I used to always like grab the maps at like gas stations, but my family, they never wanted them. Like, they're like, I know where I'm going. Like, you know this entire city? You know everywhere? It's amazing. In the early 2000s, my grandmother bought me my first laptop. Sadly, it was running Windows 95. I did not have the heart to tell her. That's tough. Especially because XP was out at that time. If it was the early 2000s. When did XP come out? 01? Yeah, that sucks. And that's what I'm saying. Like, it was more likely that stuff like that happened back then, so people would waste more money because they take advantage of grandmas and normies. And that still happens now, for sure. But it's like so less often. Way less. Yeah, less people are getting scammed. I'd have to think on that. I agree. And I think that's great. And that's like, it's easy to like feel like a doomer about everything. And this is a particularly sour point. Like when people talk about the new Nintendo games being very expensive, they're like, a lot of them are like $80 instead of $70. And people are, I'm never going to buy Nintendo. A bunch of people downvoted my my Nintendo Switch 2 video because they were mad about that. And I'm like, dude, you played Fortnite for 1,000 hours for free and you spent $0. Why are you complaining about spending $10 more on a game? Like, we have more free games than we ever have in the history and existence of time. And games are better than they've ever been. Like, I don't know. I think in the long scope, I think people are playing more games and spending less money on games than ever compared to like 5, 10, 20 years ago. That's amazing. And so like when I think about spending $10 more on Donkey Kong Bonanza, I'm not worried about it because I just spent 100 hours for free on Arc Raiders or the finals. You know what I mean? Like, it all adds up, but it's like, it's just way better in our favor. Electron, what's up, dude? Top 5 games all time, and good luck on your road to 100K. Thank you, Electron. Thanks for the super chat. Is that Canadian? Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Top 5 games of all time. That is a very tough question. And I have recency bias. I will say I have played a lot of World of Warcraft Classic in my time. When WoW first came out, I played it from 2004 through 2007, nonstop. And then I kind of stopped when Wrath of the Lich King came out. I played it for like a little bit and then took a break. And then I switched to League of Legends. And but I played it a lot. And then I played when Cataclysm came out just a bit, 2-3 months, and then stopped again. And then I didn't get back into it until Classic released in 2019. And since then, I've played Classic. I played TBC Classic for a little bit, played Wrath Classic for a little bit, and now I'm on Classic Anniversary. So yeah, World of Warcraft some has to go in there for like in my top 5. It must be like, I don't know, off the top of my head. I would say Final Fantasy XI goes in that list as well. And if anyone knows, Final Fantasy XI was the first MMO that they came out with. It was not as popular as Final Fantasy 14 is now, not even by a long shot. It was basically only crazy people playing it. There's a lot of ways that that game was very difficult to play, but it was an MMO I was able to play on a PlayStation 2 in the year 2002, which to me is insane. And any old heads in here know that that's crazy to think about. And so that game also has a special place in my heart. Other than that, man, it's hard to say. I'm trying to think of. I love the Final Fantasy series, even the single player ones. I think they're all great. Tons of really good single player experiences in Final Fantasy. Baldur's Gate 3 is like incredible. Again, I'm saying recency bias. Baldur's Gate, when it came out, I mean, even I don't even think, if you don't even like that kind of gameplay, you have to like look at Baldur's Gate and go, this is amazing. Like, this is a triumph of gaming. This is like, it's just such a good, well scripted game, and the fact that there's so many outcomes and endings is like so amazing to me. They killed it with that game. What are the games? I love the Battlefield series. Battlefield 6, I played the tech demo or whatever, the beta, whatever came out recently. It was really fun. Love me some Battlefield. Yeah, I'm trying to think. There's a ton of games. It's hard to say. So many. But yeah, that was my good one. Thanks for the super chat. Appreciate it. That is the real deal. Back Rev Games. All my audits that are others confirm that. Look at the board games of Monopoly from 1930s and rest from 1964 Space Invaders. Game like before digital. Yeah, so true. Thomas Brothers were roadmaps. You could look up an address and it would tell you what page to check. Interesting. That's cool. But see, it's so hard. Warcraft 3 still goated. You know, I have a hard time with RTSs. I play all of them. I played StarCraft, played Warcraft 3, played Warcraft 2, but I never was good at them. I'm just too stupid to control too many units. I just can't do it. But I would play them for fun sometimes. I played WoW from start till Kata, then quit. Yeah, that's pretty much me, Hayden. I took a break during Wrath though. Like I didn't play all of Wrath. I played like half of Wrath, and then I played Kata. And then after like 2 months into Kata, I'm like, I'm good. And we were playing a lot of League of Legends back then, so it was a nice change of pace. I refuse to give Nintendo money because of their litigious ways and game prices, and I'm a huge fanboy. I have a full Zelda tattoo sleeve. That's fair. You know, we all draw the line. FF11 at launch was crazy. You could barely solo level grind. Starting zone mobs wipe you in a heartbeat. Yes, dude. And this was something that I really liked about Final Fantasy 11. It was not like, it was not easy to play. It was a game, like, so now if you want to play an MMO, they give you a lot of tools to play by yourself because it's hard to play a game with only other people. But in Final Fantasy 11, the only soloing you can do outside of some very niche freak cases at the end game, you had to, other than like the first 10 levels, you had to join a group. And basically how you got XP is you just grinded. You had to kill things. You didn't get XP from quests really. So you would just get in a group and sit in a spot and just kill things for hours and maybe get some XP. And if you were lucky, you'd get a level after many, many hours. And that got bigger and bigger as you got higher. And so I just remember so many times I played on my PS2, which is the PlayStation 2. And so if y'all ever saw it at like GameStop back then, they had a big box for Final Fantasy 11. It was this big, and it was for the PS2 version. And it was so big, and it cost extra. It cost like $100 because it came with a hard drive. It came with like a 40 gig hard drive, maybe 20. I can't remember. A physical 3.5 inch hard drive that would go into the back of your PlayStation 2. And then you would screw the network adapter on top. So you were actually installing a hard drive because that was the only way they can get it to work. And then you would pop in the disc and it would basically install and download the entire MMO onto the hard drive. And so that's the only way they could get it to work back then. And then I would play from there, plugged into our Ethernet or whatever. And I'd have a USB keyboard on my lap. So the PS2 actually supports USB keyboards. Isn't that crazy for like a 2000 thing? You just plug it in directly, it works instantly. And then I used a wired controller because I didn't have a wireless one at the time, and I had an extender on it so I could play kind of farther away from the TV because I don't want to sit too close, you know. And that was super fun. And that's how I played for years. Yeah, that's how I played as well. PS2 version with the 40 gig hard disk drive. Yeah, it was very crazy to think about, dude. When I tell people this story, most people don't realize that was a thing, that you could put a hard drive in the PS2 because there's a giant slot back there. And I remember you could install other games on that hard drive and play from it, like Resident Evil Outbreak, I think, was one of the online ones. There was only a few games that you could use the hard drive for. It was very specific, but it was pretty crazy. JT Bivens list is Mario Kart 64, classics, Mario World, Diablo 2. Those are my classics. I can name more, but yeah, I played those the most. I've also played all three of those a lot. I played a lot of Diablo 2. What's funny is that I played a lot of Diablo 2. I could not care less about Diablo 3 or 4. Like, I don't know why. I think that kind of play style is just kind of over for me. But I really liked Diablo 2. And I thought it was really cool. And Mario Kart 64 is awesome. Super Mario World's awesome. Star Wars Galactic Battlegrounds for sure. That I did not play. Yeah, PS2 was a technological marvel. It even supported FireWire. It's pretty crazy. They were early to a lot of stuff. Command and Conquer, StarCraft, Age of Empires, all are my old school favorites. This guy's a PC gamer. This guy loves PC games, you can tell. PS2, man, Killzone and Red Faction 2 were awesome. I remember when we first got the network adapter for the PS2, it came bundled with SOCOM. And it came with the cheapest garbage headset I've ever seen. And this was right before Xbox released, I believe. Or maybe it was after. I can't remember. But Xbox Live also came with a headset. So you had to buy Xbox Live, and it came with a headset as well. And so the network adapter on PS2 came with one. But it was like the most garbage, crappy headset. And I remember playing SOCOM. SOCOM, it's such a difficult game, man. It is like one shot, you're dead. It is incredibly punishing, I mean. Like, I just remember like being horrible at it. I could not play it. I didn't know what was going on. I was just getting thrashed every time, which is weird because I do okay in shooters. In every other shooter, I've been fine. But SOCOM specifically, I just remember it being really bad. And I remember I'd put on the headset and listen to people talk, and nobody ever spoke. You would occasionally hear someone's music playing, or someone says the N-word or something. Like, but yeah, they had the voice commands for your troops. That part is cool. So back then, SOCOM had the voice command for your troops, which you could do in single player mode, and you could also do that on what's that game? What's the game? It's on Xbox. It's very popular now. The game where you control troops. There's a bunch of them. Rainbow Six. You could do on Rainbow Six 3, and probably the other ones too. I remember you could say like, if you're playing single player, right, and you have got a squad of people you want to work with, you could say, hey, Jarvan, flank right. And then on screen he goes, all right, flank and right, and he would go and do it. And in the early 2000s, that was like insane. Like the fact that you could talk and say, go do something, and an NPC would go do it, which was so cool. PS2 SOCOM was all about get good scrub before that phrase was even coined. It was so hard, man. I'd love to go back and try it now and see if I was just too young or if it was really hard. I just remember getting shot like once, and I'm just like, everything's so dark. I can't see anything. And this was around the time I was playing Halo, and Halo was so bright, and I'm just like, oh, I feel so behind, man. This is tough. Good times though. A lot of innovation at that time. Okay, another game I would have to say from my top 5. Hold on. Is this one right here. So this is Phantasy Star Online for the Dreamcast. I'd say this game more than ever is amazing. Changed my life in a lot of ways. So imagine a young me I had a Dreamcast, and this was in 1999. Okay, in 1999, playing a Dreamcast, plugging in a dial-up cable, an RJ11 into the back of a Dreamcast, plugging this little disc into it with a Sonic Adventure 2 advertisement, and having a keyboard that is a special keyboard that only plugs into the controller port of the Dreamcast, okay? And playing this game online with Americans and Japanese people. And so fun. I felt like the way this plays, this is not like an MMO in the traditional sense. This plays like Diablo, where you're like going through levels, right? Like in Diablo. But so fun. I loved the design so much. And I played this so much. To this day, I still love this game so much. I have the strategy guide for it still because I think it's fun. And I picked up this PS Vita version of the Phantasy Star Online 2 that was only available in Japan and Southeast Asia. This is not playable anymore, but it's just a collector's piece. But I love it. Ironically, I don't like Phantasy Star Online 2. It's just such a different game. I love the simplicity of this. These two games are not anything alike. I feel like they're so different. But yeah, Phantasy Star Online definitely on my list of top 5. And yeah, Halo 2 on Xbox Live. Yeah, totally. Me too. We would even play Halo 1. I remember we tried the Halo 1 online. So for those who are too young, Halo 1 did not have online. Okay, so it came out before Xbox Live was announced. So Xbox Live, the Xbox had an Ethernet port built in already, so you didn't have to buy an adapter. But the Xbox Live service was not available, and so Halo 1 didn't have online connectivity built in because it came out before the service came out, right? And people, that is like one of the biggest falls. Even though it didn't, it still was that popular. You know what I mean? But there was a way that if you knew what you were doing and you had a Windows computer, you could join lobbies that were like tricking the console into thinking you were in a LAN, like a local area network. And they were basically tunneling, okay? Basically a VPN tunnel. But there was a software that did it for you, that you could all tunnel into the same IP address and pretend you're playing on LAN, and you could play online with other people on your console. And this was so fun, but it was so jank. It didn't work very well. But it was really cool at the time, trust me, because everyone wanted to play Halo Online so bad. And before that happened, we would do LAN parties every weekend. So my friend who lived down the street, he had a bunch of TVs, and I'd bring my Xbox over there. And we would have just a bunch of kids in there, like 10, 16 kids. Like, it was a crazy party every weekend, just playing Halo nonstop for like many hours. And that's why I kind of hate online gaming, because it has destroyed that. It has destroyed a lot of like in-person events. People, especially young people, don't want to go to an-person event. They don't see the point. They don't see a difference between playing Fortnite online with their friends and playing next to each other. Like, to them, it's like, why would I do that? It's a waste of time. And that's really sad, because LAN events are like so much better. It's just like playing D&D. Playing D&D in person is infinitely better than playing online. And there's no way you can convince me otherwise. Which was the console headset that was a single earphone side, flat the other? I think that was the PS2 one. I remember the PS2 one was a tiny little bud here, and then there was nothing on this side. It just kind of dug into the side of your head. So it literally was only on one side. So that probably the PS2 one. But the OG Xbox, I think they had a similar design. Because back then, their headsets that they gave were only for voice. You could not hear the actual game. So I think they wanted you to be able to hear the TV, but also hear communication. So they only gave you one. I think they both had that. But the Xbox One was way more comfortable. Way more comfortable. It is so hard to go back and play them. A buddy of mine loved playing Twisted Metal, but can barely play now because of the graphics. Yeah. And that's one reason why I really like remasters. I think they serve a good purpose. I remember playing NFL 2K Online via the Dreamcast modem with controller and keyboard. Amazing times. Yeah, for sure. I had a professor in college who running a long-term cognitive study on students in the experiment use of 2 CRTs, 2 Xbox, and 2 copies of Halo for one-on-one death matches. Very fun. Yeah, if you go to PAX or any gaming convention now, you see a weird thing where a long time ago, PAX was, and any gaming convention was primarily younger people. It was like a lot of young people. Now, if you go, it's all old people. Like truly, it is very rare to see a teenager there. And if they are, they're usually with their parents. Like their parents brought them because the parents are into it too. And it's just like young people don't want to do anything. They don't want to go outside. And it's just very strange to see most of the people at a game convention, because games are for kids, and it's all like people in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. Like it's very interesting. And my I have a family member who started college this year. So a few weeks ago. So she's 18, brand new in college. And she said she is having a hard time making friends. But not for lack of trying. It's that she said everyone is just awkward. It's like everyone after class, they all immediately go back to their dorm and just like scroll TikTok. Like that's all they do. And whenever she does make conversation with people, they'll just be very like awkward and like don't know how to socialize. And I told her I think it's because it's all iPad kids. The iPad kids are finally going to college and they don't know how to talk to other people. And so it's a struggle. And that's a very real struggle. Like they're not going to conventions, they're not going out and doing stuff, they're not partying, you know what I mean? Like, and so they're just so used to being online only that they're having a hard time making friends in the real world. And it's pretty sad. I want to see more young people at PAX and other stuff, and see more young people doing LAN events. And a cyclical nature of that stuff, I think we will see it. It'll just take some time. But it's tough. Let me refresh this. This keeps breaking. But yeah, good times. Good times for sure. Yeah, this guy. This is great. I remember the first time I saw this was on a Tech TV advertisement from it saying, this game is blowing up in Japan. And they showed like some footage of it. And I'm like, they're playing that online? That's amazing. Like online play wasn't really on consoles yet. So the fact that you could do this was like insane to me. Because even you could online play on computer, but it wasn't good. Like it was still like a direct connection, which is, you know, on dial-up internet. It wasn't good. Some games could do it, but it was like, okay, you have to type in their IP address. It's like, oh, I have to connect to someone's IP directly, and okay. It's so much easier now. Let me see. Why don't you do more live streams? I talk about this a lot, so I'm not going to talk about it too much. It's just hard. It's hard to work up the courage to do it, and it would be easier to justify if I was like a streamer where there's like $100 coming in every hour. You know what I mean? It's like easy to justify things when you have monetary reasons. But it's just hard. Yeah, it's hard because I usually don't have enough to say. I definitely can't do it every week. I thought I could, but it just gets it's tough. So I don't want to set a schedule. But if I do streams, I will give y'all a day or two heads up. So join the Discord if you're not. I think you are. I think I saw your name. But join the Discord, and I'll definitely post it in there a day or two before. And I try to do the schedule so people can see when I'm on, because I want to give people a chance. Yeah, the same people that would throw a bonfire and once flipped a car in the yard with me were the same people next to me playing games for hours. That is not a thing anymore. Yeah, and it's weird because my she has friends like from her high school, and I met them, and they're good kids actually. They're pretty nice, and they actually like to hang out together. And so it's just strange. It's like these people exist, and they do want to go out and do stuff. I think they just don't know how anymore. Yeah. And I think they are so used to everything being online, like texting. Texting to them is the same as talking in person. There's no difference. It is exactly the same. So why waste the time to go do that when I can sit in bed and be very comfy and just text you? Why go in person? Like, what's the point of that, right? And so I think they're having a hard time with that. Jason's moderator, Nerd on a Budget, every Wednesday. Dude, Mike has my schedule down. Yes. If you want more of me, you can go watch Nerd on a Budget. He actually does a weekly stream every Wednesday without fail. And sometimes I'm in the chat, not saying anything of value, mostly shit posting, mostly making fun of the streamer and calling out people for being stupid and banning porn bots and all that. Yeah. So not really a lot of constructive comments. I'm mostly there to feed Danny's content farm. But yeah, that is me. I'm not there every Wednesday, but usually I'll pop in at least for a little bit. If I'm free those days. Oh, we all want more of you, grr. Well, I appreciate that. Look, JT, if you drop a hundo every time I stream, I'll come back every week. I don't. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. Dude, I heard something crazy sad. Okay, so if I know a few of y'all watch Linus Tech Tips. So there's a thing going on YouTube right now, mostly for the bigger channels, where the views are down across the board in just the past month alone. And it wasn't just Linus, it's like a bunch of channels out of nowhere just like fell. Okay? And so it's easy to say like get good or whatever. Like that's always been the answer from YouTube. It's like, hey, there's nothing wrong with our site. It's your content is bad. And that's kind of what YouTube is saying now. But there's been a lot of correlation with what has happened in the past month with those big channels' views being down, is that the views are down, but the revenue is the same. Okay, so what does that mean? That means that there is less people clicking on that video who like don't watch the video. It is specifically people who are gonna watch the video. And so it's interesting to see that the views are down, but it's only because the Fairweather fans aren't watching it. And whenever you look at the revenue, you go, oh, okay, well, whatever. It's all the same amount of money no matter what. But then a lot of people, they do judge your channel based on views. Like I know there's a lot of people who legit won't click a video unless it has hundreds of thousands of views. Like if they see something has 10,000 views, that means it's not good, so they're not going to click on it. And also a lot of sponsors will judge you based on how many views you get. So even if like, let's say I have Okinos, right? And they're a sponsor. And let's say the video I do for them gets 500 views. They're not going to be very happy. Even if that literally translates to a bunch of sales for them, they're still not going to be happy. The views, they're not promised anything, but there's an understanding that people are going to have eyeballs on it, and it's not just going to lead to conversions. So that's something going on with the YouTube algorithm. But the sad thing is that I heard, Linus Tech Tips, they have their float plane subscription, which is like you pay money per month to get access to behind the scenes stuff. And they have all the back end notes where they know everything that's going on, all the errors on the site, right? Like, hey, you got this error because of this reason. They said there's been a growing trend over the past couple months that the number one error they're getting now is insufficient funds. So that means that people are trying to buy the next month on a credit card and they cannot because or on a debit card, and they cannot because the credit card is maxed out or their debit card account is empty. And in my mind and their mind, Linus Tech Tips and Luke, they were saying if because Floatplane is $5. If your card is maxed out, you shouldn't be buying Floatplane, right? And that's how I feel too. Like I'm like, it's just crazy to us. Like normal people think like, oh my god, if I can't even afford $5 float plane, I shouldn't even be buying it. And it's a very sad thing to think about because it has been a growing trend where more and more of their audience are getting this error that says insufficient funds for a $5 purchase. And that's like a very troubling thing. And so I think they had the same idea that I would say is like, don't buy it. Oh my God. Don't donate to streamers if you can't afford it. Don't buy behind the scene access. Don't DoorDash your food, dude. $5 is not a lot of money. So if that is like make or break for you, don't do it. This is all nothing. Like it's just it's so sad to think about. I hope they're doing okay. And that's what I've told people in the past. Like I mean, if you have the money and you'd love to support content creators, that's awesome. I've done it all the time. I do it. But if you're down to like your last $5, dude, don't donate it to Kai Cenat. You know what I mean? Like when I see people like I hope they're joking, but they'll donate. This is my last $10. Hope it's good. I'm like, dude, that guy is a millionaire or that girl is a millionaire. Why are you giving them your last $10? What are they gonna do with it? What are you doing? Oh, it's so sad. I just hope they're joking. I've been messing with an Acer Veriton small form factor I got off eBay. Got to trim the case a little to fit my GPU and cooler. Very cool, man. Post it in the Discord when you get finished. I'd love to look at it. Hardware run, and there will be a pop at Black Friday and Cyber Monday. More tech media views on hardware introductions. Cool. The Black Friday and Cyber Monday are deal increases in views, and Jason at PC Builder and Mark at Scouterville always do well on hardware price slides and with bundles into holiday sale season. I cook. Okay. I don't know the cook part. Yeah, I should do that. I should do. That's one thing I always said. I need to do like a Black Friday video and just get some of that juicy ad revenue. Or not ad revenue, sorry. Amazon affiliate. Newegg affiliate. And just put everything. Yeah, because they do very good. And like you said, yeah, price slides and with bundles. I think, yeah, that'd be super helpful. Oh, okay. That conversation started as freshman college students with iPhone wanting to fit in. Yeah, for sure. Okay, I was putting these two together and I was like, what are you talking about, Mike? Okay, got it. You cook. Very cool. Yeah. Speaking of LTT, did you see the new Scrapyard Wars? They did a full home theater gaming setup. Yeah, I did actually. I watched it today. I actually liked it more. I was getting pretty tired of the Scrapyard Wars style where it's like, okay, let's get an old PC and overclock it and jank it up and whatever. I'm just like, those kind of videos don't do well anymore because you can't do, SLI. Overclocking doesn't get you as much performance as it used to. There's a lot of this jank these days. And so I think like the last two, I watched them, but I was just like, whatever. It's more interesting to see them build something like that, like a custom room or entertainment center. I think that's really cool. I'd love to see more of that, actually, like finding other things other than just computer parts, because it's more interesting to me. It made more sense back in the day. It made more sense like 10 years ago. I saw a YouTube video recently about how some of these big YouTube channels are being bought by networks or private equity firms. Yeah, for sure. A lot of really big channels, they get sold off. Yeah. But that's like in the millions. But even you have like, if y'all know Jarvis, I don't watch his content, but he has a few million subs, and Rhett and Link bought like 10% of his channel, which is very interesting. So basically they gave him money for a cut of their channel, which means nothing unless the channel gets sold, right? Like they just own a portion of it, just investing in it. And just like, interesting. Do they expect him to sell out one day? Huh. The latest Scrapyard Wars is awesome. I agree. I liked it a lot, actually. I want to see more of that. I want to see more Scrapyard Wars stuff that isn't like just overclocking old PCs. Like, I liked the one where they had to get a bunch of desks and stuff. I thought that was fun. And I like I like the new personalities on the channel now. They're pretty chill. I think they do a good job of finding people. Okay, it's almost 9, guys. I need to go to the grocery store before they close. So I'm going to head out. Thank you everyone for coming. Everyone who's here. I promise I will do this more. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate anyone who comes. You guys rule. Stay tuned on the channel. We're going to have some very cool videos coming up. And I think it's going to be a good time. And I'll try to do these more, I promise. What was I going to say? Yeah, that's it. So guys, thank you for coming. Have a great week. Hope everyone had a good time. Maybe next week? I don't know. My birthday's in 2 days, so I was gonna name this the birthday stream, but I decided not to. So I might take next week off for my birthday, but we'll see. I just got back from PAX. I should probably work. Have a good night, man. You have a good night. You too, guys. It's always a joy to chill with you and chat, for sure. You guys are awesome. Hayden, Nathan, JT, Mike, HX, Reluctant Hero. Who else we got? Robert Fix It Live, Rad Robot. You guys rule. Thanks Electron for the super chat. Thanks anyone else who was here who didn't talk. You guys are awesome. Have a good night. Happy birthday. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Have a good night, guys. I'll see you all in the Discord, okay?